scenic arid land, the centre, without realizing just what is in store for the beholder. We feel dwarfed by the gigantic natural structures with vertical cliff faces towering above us. We feel spellbound by the colour which Mother Nature has chosen to play with. We feel admiration for the early explorers who travelled their way across this country, and most of all, we feel peace in the company of in the red heart of Australia. We commenced our safari by road on the way to Ayers Rock, and we just had to stand in the bed of the Finke River, said to be the oldest river in the world, a gem hunter's paradise. Moving on, Ebenezer had a passion for diamonds. Shouts for help were ignored by the cameraman, who had his duty to perform. During the long drought, who were lucky enough to be on the tourist route, set up wayside restaurants to augment their meagre income. One such case is Ebenezer Station. We changed drivers for the next part of the trip to Curtin Springs Station, and our new driver pushed the bus over miles an hour, doing the 150 miles to Ayers Rock in 3 hours, including stops to view such meets as Curtin Springs Station is another example of an improper. We stopped here for afternoon, and here we met some of the travellers returning of the passions to be encountered at Ayers Rock. About the only part of the Weather Bureau, and this is more scientific than advisory. Our first sight of the rock, lying 20 miles to the west. All the features of the rock are named either by Aborigines or white. Fitting into the surroundings of the rock and hardly noticeable unless you are there is our place of residence, Ayers Rock Chalet. It was a matter of some urgency to go and meet the rock and to touch it. During this film you will see the changing faces of Ayers Rock. You will see it change colour from dark purple to a scarlet glowing hot coal. Ayers Rock is claimed by some to be the largest monolith in the world. It is true that it is a monolith, but contrary to popular opinion, it is not an enormous pebble. It is a large hill composed of sandstone rich in feldspar. This combination is called arkose. The smooth outline is the result of weathering. The beds of arkose were tipped on end during one of the periods of Earth movement, causing the vertical banding which is a well-known geological feature of the rock. A sand plain covers the remainder of the rock, which stretches for miles around. Years ago, during what is called the Tertiary period, Ayers Rock was an island in a large lake. They found that the surrounds of the rock are arkose, covered by 200 feet of sand and clay deposited during the wet. So we have Ayers Rock, and not very far away, Little Ayers Rock, which is the only other rock of any description which appears above the sand. We have had peeps at the Olgas, and the pamphlets say that they are even more fantastic than these. So let's go and have a closer look. On the way, however, if we look back at the rock, we find it changing all the time from dark grey to pink as the clouds go over. composed of conglomerate, that is, sedimentary rock which contains a large number. The arkose binding the pebbles is as hard as the pebbles themselves, and we get the terrazzo floor effect. The augurs are therefore completely different to the rock, and indeed quite fantastic. They remain as eroded mountains raised during the Cambrian period 500 to 600 million years ago. Like Ayers Rock, they are residual rock mass left standing above the surrounding plains after the water. After tramping through the augurs, we came across the scene known as the Valley of the Lost. The augurs are reputed to be worth studying at sunset. Just before sunset, that's Mount Augur, second from the right. Sunsets, they take on a bright orange colour. After the sun goes down, they return quickly. Retreating from the sunset position, we enjoyed a barbecue dinner at the foot of Mount Augur. Late to bed and early to rise, no rest for the photographer. Before the sun rises, the rock looks like this. Within a few minutes it changes. And when the sun finally rises, it takes on a characteristic early morning look. Then returns to the normal daytime hue. One of the rituals for the visitor is to climb the rock long and 1.5 miles wide. There's Adrian and Helen on the way up, halfway up looking down. Adrian and Helen nearing the top, but they tell me that when you get to the top and qualify for membership of the Ayers Rock Alpine Club, it occurred to me that maybe these boulders have been informed that no one has ever seen a rock fall here, nor have they seen where a rock has fallen recently. I suppose that after 600 million years, anything that could fall. If you do not suffer from claustrophobia, and you can bear to put your head through a hole which is only just big enough, you can set up this sort of scene for the photographer. It gave me the horrors. Pool looks for all the world like a man-made swimming pool. This particular cave is called the Sound Shell, and whispers can be heard 50 yards away. One of the things you notice about Ayers Rock is that due to the sound travels about 5 times as far as it would under normal circumstances. This side shot of the climb shows the steepness and the sheer fall over the side if you are careless. An Aboriginal drawing of a man on a horse is thought to be a picture of Goss, for the Aborigines did not have hats or horses, and this must have been the first time that they saw either. This drawing depicts the Aborigines' idea of an eagle. The sunset on Ayers Rock starts off with a pretty bright orange and then gradually goes to a dark grey. Too enthralled with the sight, you are likely to forget there's that scarlet glowing hot coal. And thus we come to the end of our stay at Ayers Rock. so it's back to Alice Springs by air in 1.5 hours. The itinerary says so. I suppose there are a few airports in the world where everyone, regardless of age, turns around to look at the same thing. And it isn't because it is the only thing for miles around. It's because in only 4 days you've learnt to love that thing. And after all that, it's a day's rest at the motel at Alice Springs prior to setting off on a safari around the MacDonald Ranges.